First of all, I want to acknowledge and extend my gratitude to the Mayor for taking action. I agree that this needs to be dealt with as soon as possible. I'd like to see things get done. And I think residents want things done. They want action. And now is our chance to take real action to mitigate the disruption that we see and that we hear on the streets of Winnipeg. The Police Act of Manitoba is clear. We've heard it many times today. Elected officials are prohibited under provincial legislation from directing the operations of the police. In fact, I'll acknowledge the Mayor put that in the motion correctly. If the Mayor or my colleagues had agreed or would agree to go forward with what is written in front of us today, and I know we're having many discussions, which is, I'm so grateful for that. But if we went ahead with that, I would have to ask, what is being achieved? Because in agreeing with the Mayor and many of my colleagues, something has to happen. I also want to acknowledge that I believe the Mayor said, and I hope I don't misquote him, so I'm not going to quote, that we're not here debating vaccines. We're debating the issues of what's happening in our downtown with residents, the disruption. And I think I've summarized that correctly, and I hope I have through you, Madam Chair, to the Mayor. The words on the original motion, I don't feel get us any results, any tangible results. I appreciate where they're going, and I think it's a great step forward. And here we are today because the Mayor called that special meeting and having this discussion. But I would urge my colleagues to consider alternative measures as we're doing right now. And everyone can see us walking around talking about it. This is what I expected. It's wonderful. But I would urge my colleagues to look at the amending motion to that the Mayor, utilizing the powers of said office, reach out to the Premier. I know he has. I know they talk. But we have to understand that that's the position that we have to, we gave the power to say, represent us, Mr. Mayor. And he's been doing that. I'm also urging my colleagues to direct the CAO to investigate the possibility of undertaking court proceedings for an injunction relative to restoring common order to the community as a result of the excessive noise and vehicle disruptions being experienced. We heard Mr. Jack, not a legal opinion, but we heard Mr. Jack say that it's difficult ground for a city if you don't have cause. And I would argue that the overtime that we're paying to the Winnipeg Police Service, not to mention how that's going to impact pensions, but the overtime is having an impact on all residents. The loss of businesses will impact this city if businesses lose more revenue and have to shut down. We have to be very concerned about that. And I would argue that we've already spent more money doing extra snow clearing there to ensure the safety of residents. I think this is negatively impacting us as a city. And that's why I'm asking that we direct the CEO, not just to file the lawsuit or for an injunction, but let him investigate the possibility of undertaking the court proceedings for an injunction. Let him, in his discussions with police, give the police the power that they need. A directive from the court has the power to address this issue formally, swiftly, and effectively. And that's what people want. The people of Winnipeg want action. We don't want more division. And the Mayor's not saying vaccine against non-vaccine or anything, just saying, look, we need order. We need order. And I agree with that. We need order. And an injunction is, again, the most effective action to achieve order. It gives the powers to the police to intensify their approach to what's happening downtown. But I'm not a lawyer, especially not a lawyer that has experience or the education in constitutional law or municipal law. So let's let the CAO have those conversations with the people necessary. and let's get something done. I know there's other motions before us, and I would entertain adding all of it to mine. All of it. And say, we still want to get something done. So the motion that has been put forward by Councillor Rowlands that we'll hear about in Councillor Chambers, nice, great job. But we still need action right now. And we need to give the CAO the ability to look into the court injunction right now and give the powers to our police to get something done. You know, today is a great day, and it's a fork in the road for us. We're going to be, I think, a political group that came together, not under the vaccine or non-vaccine, because the mayor called this special meeting to talk about the city. How is it impacting our city? It's costing the WPS, you know and I know, this is going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. My colleagues, Councillor Gillingham, Councillor Chambers, we're all former police board chairs, with the exception of Councillor Chambers, who is there today. Understand the critical status and the cost to the city for policing. And we're enduring more and more today. So I agree, action needs to be taken. And I believe now is our chance to take real action. Give the direction to the CAO to investigate a court injunction immediately. And if that is best for the city and allows the police to take action to reduce the cost and risk to the city of Winnipeg, because the risk is there. So if this allows that to happen, then I would urge you to support me on that. I'll say now, I agree with Councillor Rowlands and Chambers on many of their points. And I think together we could form a really strong motion with the help of all members of council, including the mayor, who's going around and having discussions. So why don't we move the motions together? I can't do that properly under protocol. I understand that. But I think we still, at the very least, need to get something done now. And we do that now by having our CAO direct our legal department to work with police and others to file, or at least determine whether or not we can file for an immediate court injunction, increasing the powers to police to address these issues because of what it's costing our city. We're going to pay millions more for snow removal. Councillor Gillingham's going to run out of ideas how to make up for this, if he hasn't already. And then you add the Winnipeg Police overtime. It's difficult times. So my colleagues, thank you for the discussions we're having today. Mr. Mayor, I know it's uncommon for me to acknowledge your leadership on this, but I will. I think it's important to acknowledge that. I had first thought a special meeting was unnecessary. But I looked at the motion, I thought, no, we need to get something done because residents want something done now. And the only thing we can do that gets something done now would be to direct the CAO, and all the other points that my colleagues have put forward are great, but also to direct them to investigate the potential of filing for a court injunction immediately. I hope you'll consider it, colleagues. It's a big day for us. I think we're changing the narrative. There's enough division in the country. I haven't heard anybody talk about vaxxing or anti-vaxxing. I've heard about division through the media, through social media. We're not causing more. We're actually here today, and again I'll say it, thank you to the mayor, to address the impact on the city that it's having. So hopefully you'll consider it. Hopefully my colleagues will consider adding the two motions together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Klein.